Welcome to A Little Less Stupid. Songs and stories to remind me to be dumb, less, and smart, more. And today we're going to talk about the best and the worst ways to pray. And I remember in Seattle, I had been told by my producer on the phone. I remember standing outside this coffee shop in this little concrete jungle, and he told me how much the recording was going to cost per song, and he said it's $2,000 a song. And in my mind, I was like, 6 songs, and I was homeschooled, but the math on that was 12,000. And he's like, "Can you do that?" And I was like, "It's 6 months and 12,000." And I was like, "Yes." And I was running out of ways about a month in to save money. I was doing $1.99 peanut butter at Trader Joe's with 19-cent bananas, eating shift meal to supply a lot of my carbohydrate and protein needs. And then I decided I'm going to bike about 9 miles each way to Seattle. And it was about 10 minutes longer than driving with traffic, but I thought, like, I can do that. And I'd never biked in the winter before in Seattle, but on a very, very cold day where you could see a light frost, I started biking to work and I had to stop. My hands were like freezing. I stopped and bought like work gloves at 7-Eleven. And I was kind of running late because I was doing my vocal exercises, my Walt won't wait for wills and my shepherds shear their sheep. And I was going to work after doing the checkbox of things to get ready for recording. And I got to the Ballard Bridge turn and I turned, but my bike did not listen to me today. And in one instant, my bike slipped on black ice and my body was on the ground still going like 15 miles an hour at the bottom of a hill. And I just slid. And I slid and I stopped underneath a stopped car. And as adrenaline was flowing and all I heard was somebody saying, are you okay? And in my mind, I looked at my bike and my only worry was like, can I still work? Because I need, in the plan that I have in my head, I need this shift to hit the 12K. And I didn't notice that the entire right side of my hip and my derriere was like a raspberry, like all the skin was gone. But I got to work and I started working. I didn't even know that. I was like, my hip kind of hurts. And I don't know why. Well, I know why, but I don't know what's going on down there. And at the shift, as I started, I was like, man, I need to like slow down or I'm gonna die. And that was very apparent to me when one of my first tables was at the bar, and this blonde, like 40-year-old lady, before even ordering, I came up to her and said, "Hey, what can I get for you?" And she said, Are you okay?" And I looked at her surprised, like, I did recently buzz my hair and that didn't look great. Not a good look for me. But she said, Are you okay? And I said, I'm fine. Like in my eyes, I had seen 3 other tables just sit down as we had just opened. And I thought of like them looking at me and needing me. And I was like, "Please, like, can you just order? What can I get for you?" And she said, "As long as you'll promise you'll go on some kind of vacation in the next few weeks." And I was like, "Miss, I'll do whatever you want if you order a coffee or mimosa right now." And she said, "Have you been to Vashon Island?" And Vashon Island, and in the Puget Sound, there's a series of islands that lead out to the Pacific Ocean. And she said, "It's right across, right here." She pointed across the sound and said, "It's right there. You can go after work." And I did not go after work. I had a shift later that evening as I was working 2 or 3 serving jobs at the time. And I went onto Airbnb and I found a Harry Potter sized room. It was like just a closet. And it was $69. I booked it for a Monday in March. And on the Seattle ferry on my way to Vashon Island, I was leaning on the green metal railing overlooking the water with Vashon Island in front of me. And I felt the ability to even have a second to pray. And all that I could conjure was God, I'd like to see you move. Almost like I had rocks to throw at God, as if I hadn't seen him moving or working in my life. And then right as I said that, the overhead music or announcement came on, hey, go back to your cars. We're going to hit land here shortly. And somehow, as I drove off the ferry, I noticed it was going to be a sunshiny day in Seattle on a Monday in March. And I was going to have it basically to myself as everyone else had to work. Compliments of hospitality life. And I noticed as I started to drive and I went and I biked down to this little marine park where you could see Seattle, you could see Mount Rainier. The sun was reflecting off the water in that cool way that it does. And I was on top of this mountain of sand, and I cracked open a can of rosé from Trader Joe's and had my goat cheese with blueberry reduction. I don't know, blueberry jam, something on it. It was delicious, but I just felt like God gave me the second there to realize and see all the different ways he was moving. I actually was on track to pay the recording bill, and he'd provided really cool jobs at really cool places in downtown Seattle to do that. Voice lessons, different people to help record, just really cool ways he was moving. And I felt like a little kid complaining about his peanut butter and jelly crust. I was just God, please help me go slow enough to see you move. And that felt like the right thing to say. And the sun was shining. I could feel it on my skin, and I just felt man, God has this love for us that's solar, and it's never ending. And even after we throw rocks at him, he's just hey, whenever you want that hug, I got it for you, bud. And yeah, God just has this warmth to him, and it's always there if we're going to show up. And recently I felt at sunrise, that's the moment where I feel the love of God the most. And this song is called Solar.
On a hilltop, holding to a tar fence, Abba's hand is on my shoulder while the trees dance. I got questions like a bluebird. I forget them for a second, saying these words. Wanna see you, and then it got tense. Sunrise says, say that again. Help me go slow, slow enough to see you. Slow enough to see you. Your light never ends. It's all around me. Would you blind me? Be the moon in darkness. I see I am so loved. My love is solar. Jesus, you are the sun, and my heart's a garden. My heart's a garden. Sunflowers coming out of my head. Had a gray heart, now it's blood red. May my roots wrap around that wood cross. God, the sun's so nice, but I get so lost. Your light never ends. It's all around me. Would you blind me? Be the moon in darkness. I see I am so loved. My love is solar. Jesus, you are the sun, and my heart's a garden. I need the sun. My heart's a garden.
Thanks for joining me on a journey to be a little less stupid, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Please subscribe, and maybe we'll see you next time.